Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today I think we are going to have some fun making some of those MemoryDex Rolodex cards, so let's head on over to the craft table and get started.
Today I'm going to be using this cute Lazy Cat stamp and die set. Let me grab a piece of paper here to stick behind it so you can get a better look at it. But it is absolutely adorable, and it comes with sentiments. And there are 11 images in the stamp set, and there is a matching 11 dies to go with it, including dies to cut out the sentiments. And I really love stamp and die sets a lot just because of that. No fussy cutting needed. And I'm going to put a link below to this. I got this from In Love Arts, so there will be a link below in the description box. And I'm also going to be using this stencil set from Plaid that has all of these different stencils in it, and they are the perfect size for small projects such as, ATCs or MemoryDex cards. Don't know if you can see that really good, but I got this in a prize package from Michelle Jett when she had a giveaway on her channel, Strawberry, and I will put a link below to her channel so you can check her out. And I'm also going to be using, let me see if I can get this over here. I'm going to be using these dies right here for my MemoryDex cards, but I'm also going to be showing you how to make them without dies. So let's get started.
So there's a couple of ways to use stamp and die sets, and one of them is to stamp the images first and then place the dies over the top of them, and I like to use washi tape to hold them in place when they go through my Cuttlebug so that they don't move. These were actually pretty easy to line up, and so they cut beautifully. Now, the other way to do it is to die cut first and then stamp the images on them. And I'm going to show you in a minute how that is done because I prefer that method.
Later in the video, I'm going to show you some things that you can use these unstamped die cuts for. But right now, I am going to show you how to stamp them now that they have been cut out. Okay, let me move these pieces out of the way, and we are just going to start with one. And I'm going to be using this piece of foam packaging that I've cut down because it helps get a crisper image when you're stamping. And of course it'd be nice if it laid flat. So I'm going to be using this Memento Luxe Toffee Crunch. And I have my stamp already on an acrylic block so that I can see through it and line everything up. So let me get this all inked up here. And, oops, get this over here where it's facing me so I can get it all lined up. There we go. And it's really easy to line up a clear stamp with a clear acrylic block when you're doing this technique. So pull it off. And isn't that absolutely beautiful? And I actually find this technique easier than stamping it first and then trying to die cut it and get everything lined up, hoping it doesn't move, putting the washi tape on. I just really prefer this one. So I told you I would show you a couple things to use the blank die cuts for. And one of them is for layering. And it's really great. It makes your images more dimensional and more sturdy. And so you just add some glue, take the pretty one and stick that on top. And you can do this as many times as you want, as many layers as you want. Isn't that adorable? Okay, back to this. Anyways, I am going to be doing 3 layers for all of the die cuts that I've done. And I'm doing that, like I said, I want it to be a little bit more dimensional and a little bit more sturdy. And this works great, not just with these images, but also with the sentiments. So I'm going to get all of that done, and I'm going to come back and we're going to start putting the MemoryDex cards together. Okay, I've die cut my first MemoryDex card here, and I'm going to be doing some stenciling. And normally you would mask over a stamped image and then create a background and remove the mask, and your stamped image is there beautifully. But in this case, I've already sprayed the back of this with some pixie spray, and I am going to sit my image on top of it so I can see where I want it and put it down, and I think that's where I want it. So let me lift up that. Okay, and now I have my mask sitting there, and you are going to see why in a little bit. So let me move that image aside, and I'm going to be using this flower background. I don't think, there you go, you can see it right there. I'm going to be using that stencil for my background, and so I am just going to line it up on here where I want it, and I think that's where I want it, right there. Okay, so I could have sprayed that with pixie spray, but because there are 4 different stencils on here and I just didn't want it to get all over everything, I am only spraying it on the back of, I just moved that. I've only sprayed it on the back of my mask, but not on the back of the stencil. So I'm going to be using some purple tape to hold everything in place. And then I'm going to hope for the best when I add the Transfer Gel Duo, because that's what I'm going to be using, because I'm going to be doing some foiling. So let me get this on here. And I am, taping where it's not on the mat, but kind of in hopes that it will help hold it in place through the open areas on the stencil. And, wish me luck with that. Okay, I've got it on there, and I'm going to be using the Transfer Gel Duo. And we're going to put that on, and then it's going to have to dry for a while. So it goes on white, and when it's clear, it's dry, and it just kind of depends on the weather and on how much you put on. But here we go. Hope everything stays in place. And I think I'll speed this up a little bit. Maybe I won't speed it up. I'm almost done here. So I've got it on there, nice, nice and smooth. Hopefully I didn't just slide underneath the stencil. So there we go. And now I'm just going to remove the stencil, and we're going to let this sit, and then I will be back to do the foiling. I wanted to get the stencil washed off right away, but I thought I'd come back and show you what it looks like. And when it is no longer white, but clear, it will be ready for us to foil. I meant to show you when I took the mask off, but I forgot to turn the camera on. But there's the mask, and here is the MemoryDex card all ready, because you can see that it's clear and shiny. And I'm going to be putting this orange foil. Actually, let me grab it right here for you. It's from Gina K Designs. It's fancy foils, and it's called Dazzling Orange. And so the orange side up, silver side down. I'm going to actually turn this another direction here so that it actually fits. There we go. And I'm going to lay that right across the top. And I know you're wondering why I have my cuddle bug here. But something that someone told me, probably somebody from ThermoWeb, is that it really helps the foil to adhere, if you put it through your Cuttle Bug, just because of the constant even pressure. So I am using my A plate, B plate, and a C plate because it's so flat. So it's kind of like using, you know, a flat metal die. So I think that's the route to go. And I'm just going to run that through, and I'm going to run it back, partially to give it a little extra, and partially because it's easier to get to, instead of having to reach around the machine. Okay, let me move this out of the way, and we're going to take a look at the reveal. This is one of the funnest parts of foiling. So let's peel it back and see what we've got. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, so I can see a little spot right there did not get good. And I don't know if going back over it right now will help, because it is probably when I put on the transfer gel duo. So let's see. Yep, I'm able to get a little bit of it on there. Let's try it. But now I'm going to mess with this, and I'm going to come right back because I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to get all the pieces to finish putting this together. Well, I was able to use that foil and fill in all the empty spots except for that one right there. So I must have missed some of the gel right there. But that's okay. We will cover that up. But right now, I'm going to put this back piece on. And I like putting a back piece on. You don't have to. But I like doing this with the lines on it so that I have places to write the information. And you might want to put something on the back that just has a pretty design, or that doesn't have anything, or you may not want to put anything on the back at all. So that is totally up to you. But this is how I do it. And so let me just get the glue on here. And there we go. We'll get this on and we will start decorating the front. There we go. Looks good from the back. Looks good from the front. Let me turn it over and just make sure it's pressed on there really good. The nice thing about my Beacon 3-in-1 is I can move it around a little bit. You can't peel it back off, but you can definitely, you know, use your thumbs or fingers to slide it around. All right, so next I am going to put this little kitten right there, and I am going to give it a little wobbler, those little cute little springy thingies. Yeah, springy thingies. So I'm going to glue this on the back, and then I am going to glue it on there. Okay, I've got it on the back, and it has a little peel off thing here. So we're going to peel that off, and it's already got adhesive there. And I'm going to stick this little guy right in there, and he can wiggle. Make sure everything is sticking good. Okay, I think he's on there good. He seems to be, oh, he's a little crooked because some of the glue I used was still there. Okay, there we go. And then I came up with a fix for that. Every little kitty needs a ball of yarn. So I have created a little ball of yarn that I'm going to try to get off my fingers now and stick right over that. And I'll probably have to give it a little stick right there as well. So let me grab this, put a little bit of glue on that. There we go. And he isn't just playing with that ball of yarn though. He saw this butterfly, and that is what caught his eye. So let me put a little bit of glue on the back of the butterfly, and we will be done with this one. That just needs to dry. But there we go. Isn't that cute? And this is just a little wobbly thing. I love the way it turned out. And you know what? I think that yarn was a perfect addition. Just what it needed. And here's the next one all cut out and ready to start decorating. And again, like the other one, I have a back cut out for it. And this one has lines on it for writing on. You can do it with images or nothing at all, just, totally solid. And that's going to go right on the back like so. But the first thing I want to do is I am going to glue this paper doily right here on the card. And I'm going to glue it right over these openings because I'm going to come in with scissors and cut those out of the doily. So let me make sure I have the right side here. And I'm not going to put glue all over it, just in this one section, and I'm going to leave this top half loose. So I'm just going to put it on like that, and I'm going to give it a minute to dry before I cut it out because I don't want to get glue all over my scissors. Okay, I think it's dry enough. So I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm just going to cut out these openings just like so. Do the same thing on the other side. Sorry, I keep getting off camera, trying to get it closer to me. Okay. I'm going to lift that up on this side and just snip that right off across the bottom there. Trying to get it where you can see it, or I wanted to get it where you could see it, but there we go. Okay. There we go. I've got it snipped off, and now I am going to glue this to the back. So let me get my glue here. And then this one will be ready to finish decorating. But yeah, if you have something that, ends up covering those holes, don't worry because you can just turn it over and cut it out from the back. Okay, so there we go. Get that on there. Turn it around, make sure everything is looking good. Okay, and now that I have that on, I can see a little bit more of that white, so I'm just going to trim around that a little bit more. I actually ended up going in with a little X-Acto knife to finish that off, and now I am ready to add my images, and I love this. This is just like, chipboard, kind of. And I'm going to put it right about there, and I think I'm going to add a little glue right to this part of the doily since it's not going to be showing. And get that put down. And then when I put this image on, I'm only going to be putting glue right here in the middle and not there, because when I put it down, I want to leave these things looking a little dimensional there. So I'm going to take my glue and I'm just going to put it right here in the middle and put it right there, like so. And so you can see, let me pull this up so you can see better actually. The ribbon is hanging loose and the tail and the butterfly are hanging loose because I really do like dimension. And I think I'm going to add this little meow right over there. So put a little glue on that, and this one will be done. I mean, of course, you can always add more to it. Let me wipe that off so it doesn't ooze out. I think I'm going to put it right there. And there we go. I think it's absolutely adorable. You can always add more, you can always add less, but I just love the way that this one turned out. Okay, I promised I would show you how to make a MemoryDex card from scratch if you don't have a die to cut it out with. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So, what I've done is I've taken a regular Rolodex card and I've used that for an example. So, it's going to be 4 inches across, but the height varies because some people say that they need to be 4 inches tall. Others, they're 3 1/4, 3 1/2 inches. And I believe in using your own creativity and making it the size you want. Now, the 4 inches is what you need to do, but the height is your choice. And then I've also have the dimensions here on where we're going to need to put the holes. So what I've done is I have cut a piece of cardstock that is 4 inches by 3 1/4. I probably would have gone 3 1/2, but I'm going to have something sticking up a little bit over here. So again, that was 4 inches by 3 1/4. I did the same thing for a back piece to go on there. And, you know, you could do things like rounding the corners, or you can cut a design in it. There are so many things you can do for this, but I'm just going to show you a basic rectangle one. So I'm going to flip it over to the white side, and we need to put a little mark at 1 1/2 inches and at 2 1/2 inches. So I'm going to take my ruler, and I happen to be really lucky here because I have a clear ruler that actually has a 1/4 inch mark, and I measured that and I said it's a 1/4 of an inch right there. No, it's a 1/2 inch. So I need to read my writing better. So I'm going to put this on the line that's a 1/2 inch. I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to come into 1 1/2 inches and put a little dot, and I'm going to move over to 2 1/2 inches and put a little dot. So you have those. If you don't have a ruler like mine, just make sure that those dots are 1 1/2 inches from the bottom. Next, I'm going to use a hole punch. If you just want to, you know, work it, cutting it just right, that's up to you. But I'm going to use a hole punch, and I'm going to come in and right where that is, I'm going to poke a hole. I'm going to come over to the other one, poke a hole. I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut up to that hole and cut a little opening, just like that. Going to do the same thing with this one. Just cut a little opening, and that should work out just about right with this card. There you go. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing on the back side of this one, and I'll go ahead and do that off camera because you don't really need to see it again. And then I am going to glue them together. Now you can also just actually, you know what, maybe I'll do that. You can just put them together like this if you want, and slide this in there to where that hole is. And like, I'm gonna have to bring this up to my face, sorry. Okay, poke a hole, come over to the other one, and sorry about that, poke a hole. And then use your scissors, and again, just clip and clip. And there you go. So now all I have to do is glue those two pieces together, and then we can start decorating. Now if I went too fast, you can just, you know, replay it. I will try to put a picture up of that little sample that I showed you on a regular Rolodex card. In fact, if you have access to a regular Rolodex card, something from the past, but if you have one, that is a perfect guide because that is exactly what I used here, was an old Rolodex card. So there we go. This is all put together, and we are ready to start decorating. Okay, I'm going to take this half of a doily and glue it right here to the top. And then I'm going to start putting on the images, and I might think of possibly some other things to decorate it with, because I actually haven't thought this one out completely. All right, so just going to glue this right up here to the top, like so. And then comes the piece that I said was going to stick up over the top, and it's going to be this one right there, because he's just peeking over, and I thought that was so adorable and so perfect. But I'm only going to be gluing part of this on, since the other part is going to be hanging over the top or sticking up over the top. So stick this glue right along there, and I'm going to put that right there, like so. Okay, let me go wipe my hands off because I don't want to get glue all over everything, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I've got the other pieces that are going to go on here, and I just wanted to show you that this is so nice to be able to just put the layers together and make, you know, these pieces a lot more sturdier than they were before. So that's one of the things that I really love about having the stamp and die sets with the matching dies, to be able to just create as many layers as I want. So now let's see, this is going to go down here, and then let me see, I think I'll put that one there and that one there. What do you think? I think I need some dimensional foam tape for that. I think I'll use these foam squares. They come in 2 different sizes, so that'll be perfect. They have the small ones and the bigger ones. I get these at scrapbookpal.com. So let me just turn this little guy over here. And because he's really sturdy, I don't feel the need. That was weird. That one tore up really odd. There we go. I really don't feel the need to put, you know, the foam tape all over the back, because it's, you know, not going to go flopping around since it's so sturdy. But I may put a couple of pieces on here. There. Okay. That's going to be just perfect. And I am just going to put that little sweetheart right there. Yeah. Yep, that's where I want it. Okay. So I think I'm going to glue these straight on there. And then I'll have to think about if I want to add anything else to this. So I really liked the Hello, My Friend, because the one kitten is just, you know, peeking over the top saying hello. And this one down here with the heart is going to say, let's stick together forever, because that is what best friends do, right? And I have some best friends that I would like to stick together with forever. So let's just put that on there, like so. Okay. What do you think so far? I think it's really cute, but I'm thinking it needs something over here. You know what? Maybe not. It goes at an angle, and I actually like that just the way it is, so that is how I'm going to leave that one.
Well, I hope that gave you some ideas of your own. And don't forget, below in the description box, just click where it says show more and it'll drop down, and you'll find a link to the stamp and die set that I used today, as well as a discount code to In Love Arts. And you'll find a link to Crafter's Castle Challenge where you can enter your creations. Happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye. If you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, I hope you consider that too. And if you do, be sure to click the little bell next to the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos or giveaways. And I hope you stop by Crafter's Castle on Facebook and also Crafter's Castle Challenge blog to enter your creations.